Are you missing out on weekend trips to the diner for a nice filling omelet? There's no need to deprive yourself. This is my light and fluffy diner style omelet. Just a few ingredients and the filling of your choice, and you have a delicious breakfast that will really get you going in the morning. So stick around, I'm going to show you how to do it coming up next. Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Roy. I am a home cook and amateur baker, and I am here on this channel sharing recipes that have helped me to lose over 125 pounds, whether those recipes are mine or someone else's. Now today is one of mine, but I adapted it from a recipe I got from America's Test Kitchen. They had made this fluffy diner style omelet that we loved, but they used some heavy cream and some other things that I wanted to eliminate. So I played around with it and came up with this version. But the method for cooking this is what I got from them. And it really does make a delicious fluffy omelet. Now for those of you who are looking at either the board or the thumbnail or whatever and see that I spelled omelet with just an ET at the end, that is the American version. Apparently the ETTE version is more typical in the UK, Europe, that area. But you know we Americans have to take that language and make it our own, so we took off the extra T and E. Just like we took the U's out of favorite and color. We don't need them. Anyway, so there is the omelet base, and that is what I will be giving you the bites, points, and calories and macros for at the end. I will also give you those things for the filling I'm using, but the filling is optional. You could just make this just a cheese omelet if you chose to. But you can make whatever kind of filling you want. You can do ham, you can do peppers, you can do onions, you can do whatever you would like inside your omelet. And it's very easy. I decided to do this one because I had shared on Facebook this amusing little meme of how do you make scrambled eggs, and step one was start with an omelet. And a lot of people said that they do have difficulty trying to make an omelet and getting it out of the pan so that it actually looks like an omelet. So that's why I decided to do this recipe today, just because I thought there were people out there who might appreciate knowing how to do this. Now, I'm not going to say that my omelet has never cracked when I folded it, but typically that's because I put too much filling in it. If you put too much filling and you try to fold it over, it's going to be like too big and kind of rip apart, kind of like putting on a small shirt. And anyway, I also wanted to mention, for those of you who saw Sunday, I posted a tutorial on how to use the Healthi app, how to edit foods in there. And one of my subscribers and pals, Judy, had a question about doing a quick add, if there was a way to quick add foods into the Healthi app, and there is. So I've decided at the end of this, I will tack on, for anyone who's interested, a quick little tutorial. It's really easy, but I will add that on to the end of this video after we've gotten through our recipe here. So if you are interested in that, stick around to the end. So now let's quickly go over the ingredients. There are very few ingredients for this. I have 5 eggs here that I've cracked. I've put them in the bowl that I'm going to mix them in. That's why they're in this measuring cup, this big measuring cup. You can mix them in whatever vessel you want. You just want to have a little room, because we're going to be beating them with a mixer for like 2 minutes, and they're going to get lighter and fluffier. So you want something that can contain them and also not have a lot of splash over when you're beating them. I have 3 tablespoons of water, and you might be saying, where's the milk? Where's the cream? Where's whatever? Typically omelets either don't have any additives, it's just the eggs, or it's typically water. Some, like the America's Test Kitchen version, they did whipped cream and then folded that in. But that's not typical of an omelet, and it tends to weigh it down. Creams, milks, all that kind of stuff are better for like scrambled eggs where you want that creamy texture. If you want, you could replace that water with almond milk and it wouldn't really alter the bites or points. So you could add some almond milk in place of the water if you wanted, or whatever kind of milk you're using. But it's not necessary, so I just use water. And then I have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now the base of this omelet is cheese. So I have 1/2 cup of fat-free cheddar. I finally found some at Walmart, so I stocked up because they've been like really out of any of their fat-free cheeses for a while. So I have 1/2 cup here, but it's divided. And rather than measuring it in a measuring cup, because I always have difficulty measuring cheese in a measuring cup, not because it's difficult to put in there, but I'm not sure, do I pack it in? Do I just let it sit as it comes out of the bag? It always throws me off. So what I did was I weighed it based on a 1/4 cup being 28 grams. So each of these is 28 grams. It's just easier than trying to determine if I'm actually measuring it in a measuring cup correctly. But this is part of the base recipe here. For the filling, I'm using 3 pieces of center cut bacon. I chose 3 because you can have, at least on the bacon that I'm using, Oscar Mayer, I believe it is, you can have 1.5 pieces for 1 bite. So I figured 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So this will just be 1 bite for me. The omelet, the base omelet, would be 0 bites, 0 blue points. To the filling, I am also adding, I did like 1/4 of a very large red pepper, and then probably like 1/4 of a large onion. Sorry, Jennifer Lynn. I was actually gonna try to put mushrooms in here so I could get Jennifer Lynn and Bree to both balk at making this, at least the way I'm making it. But I didn't have any mushrooms, not even canned. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing for my filling, the bacon, the peppers, and the onions. All right, so let me move a couple of things and we'll get started. Okay, for the filling, which I'm going to start with the filling because you want this to be ready for the omelet. So I'm going to add in my bacon, and you always start bacon in a cold pan because otherwise when you add the bacon to a hot pan, it instantly starts to seize up, especially since we have small bits. So you start in a cold pan, and I'm just going to break this up. Now, I did slice this bacon in half lengthwise and then cut it into small pieces. So that way it was a nice size for the filling, and it approximates the size that I have for the peppers and onions. And you, like I said, you could do anything. You could do Canadian bacon, you could do ham, you could do kielbasa. The options are endless, so do what you enjoy. So I'm going to add some pepper. I always pepper my bacon because we enjoy pepper here. If you've watched this channel at all, you know that we enjoy pepper, especially with our bacon. So this is starting to sizzle up a little bit. So let me give it a few minutes to get to the right point before I add in our veggies. Be right back. Okay, so my bacon, as you can see, it's getting kind of like foamy looking. That's when I know it's about ready, and I'm just gonna blot out a lot of the grease, because I know they say that the grease from the bacon is counted in your bites or points, but I don't need that much in here. So I'm going to get rid of some of that. And then I'm going to add in my peppers and my onions. And you could use, like I said, anything you want. Mushrooms, green peppers, jalapenos if you like it spicy. And you're just going to cook this down now that the bacon is about where you want it. Because if you put the veggies in there before the bacon is fully browned, it's going to end up steaming in there and the bacon is not going to cook and get crispy. So you want it very close to where you want it. Then you add in your veggies. But again, if you're not using bacon, you don't have to worry about it. If you just want to do a veggie omelet, just cook up your veggies because you want them soft because they're not going to cook very long once you get them in the omelet. So you want those cooked. And I'm not adding any salt, obviously, because of the bacon. But if you were doing just veggies, you would probably want to add a little salt to this. Maybe some herbs if you wanted. So I'm just going to give this a couple of minutes for those veggies to soften. Then I'm going to set it aside off the heat and we will move on. Okay, it's been maybe 3 or 4 minutes and I am going to turn off the heat. And the onions are nicely translucent, the peppers are softened. So this is going off to the side, not on any heat. And then I'm bringing in my 10-inch non-stick skillet, and it's oven safe. Now you want to make sure that you are using a 10-inch skillet, otherwise it'll get too thin or too thick. You also want to be able to cover this. It's only going to be for a minute, but it should have some sort of cover. And I will show you why in just a moment. I'm going to bring back the other ingredients. Be right back. All right, so I'm going to spray my pan fairly well because this will definitely help the omelet to come out in the end. And then I'm going to take my eggs, add in the water and the salt, and then we are going to beat these on high for about 2 minutes. So I will probably do a little time lapse here so you can see how they go from this to the light foamy mixture that you want. So I'll be back once we get to that stage. Okay, so you can see this has almost reached the 4-cup mark on my measuring cup. That's how much it has bloomed. So now we are going to, okay, so I have my pan heated here to on medium low and it's warm. What we're going to do is add in the eggs. We're going to let them sit here undisturbed for just 2 to 3 minutes until the edges start to dry out slightly. And you can see how foamy this is from all of our whipping. And you want to get as much of that in as you can. So now I'm just going to let that sit there for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then I will show you where we go from there. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes. And I don't know if I can get in close enough for you to see that it's getting a little dry looking around the edge. That's exactly what you're looking for. So now from here, what we're going to do is take 1/4 cup of the fat-free cheddar cheese and sprinkle that all over the foamy mixture. And it's sinking into the eggs, which is what you want. I'm going to just spray it just a smidge with cooking spray to help it to melt. It's not really as big of a deal here because you do have some fat from the egg yolks, but I just like to have a little extra insurance. Now I'm going to take half of our filling mixture and just sprinkle that all over. And now this is going to sink right into our foamy eggs, so don't worry that you're messing something up if you see things just disappearing. Now I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. What we're going to do now is put this into the oven for 6 to 8 minutes until it becomes very fluffy. I'm going to put it in there right now, get it off this heat, and I'll show you what that looks like once we get there. It has been about 7-8 minutes, and you can see how fluffy these eggs have gotten, and the edges will kind of crawl up. You see how they're, I don't know if you can see how they're kind of like sticking up a little bit. Now what we want to do, working fairly quickly, is add in the rest of our filling. Just sprinkle that all over as evenly as you can. But, you know, like I always say, don't make yourself crazy over it. Just do what you do. Okay, so got that in there. Now we're going to add in the rest of our cheese. Sprinkle that all over. And I'm going to do just a quick little spritz of the spray here. And now we're going to cover it. And before I forget, I'm going to put the oven mitt on the handle so that reminds me the handle is hot. Because what covering this is going to do right now is hold in some of that residual heat from the oven and help that cheese to melt. So you didn't want to add everything before you put it in the oven. This way you have a little textural difference. The cheese and filling that we put in at the beginning became more a part of the omelet. This is going to be more of the filling itself. So we're going to give this 1 minute, and then I'll be back to show you how to fold it out. Okay, so it has been a minute, and the cheese is nicely melted. So now to fold this out, make sure you have your mitt on because this handle is still going to be hot. We're going to work around the edge, make sure nothing's sticking, and I slowly start to pull it down towards this edge with the spatula. And what you want to do is get part of this out onto the plate. Get about half of this out onto the plate. And try not to lose any of the filling like I'm doing. Then you start to pull the pan away. Hold your spatula here and let it fold over. And there you have a perfect little omelet. So now, since this serves two, we're going to cut this in half. And there you have it, an omelet for two. Now I have some toast that I am going to be spraying with some butter spray to go along with this, but this is a very nice filling breakfast. So there you have it, my light and fluffy diner style omelet for just the cheese omelet. As I said, this would be 0 bites or 0 old blue points. Based on your personal points, whether you have eggs or not, it'll change things up. So input it as you are using it for whatever plan you're doing. The calories for just the cheese, again, not my filling, is 224 calories. The fat would be 11.9 grams. The carbs would be 2.9 grams. And the protein would be 24.7 grams. And again, that's for the base omelet, just the cheese omelet. With my filling, because I did 1.5 slices of bacon, it's only going to be 1 bite or 1 old blue point. But the calories would be 281, the fat would be 15.3 grams, the carbs would be 5.6 grams, and the protein would be 28.8 grams if you added the things that I added. Again, put in the recipe builder what you are using and you'll be fine. And yes, I will be doing a tutorial for that coming up very soon if you are on the Healthi app. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video and this recipe, and I wish you would give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet and you are looking for recipes that can help you on a weight loss journey. And share these videos if you know anyone who is interested in this kind of content. And hit the notification bell for the next time I upload any sort of video, such as the one I put up on Sunday for the Healthi app editing foods. If you have not seen that and you are interested, I'll put a card up here, and I will also link it down in the description box below. Make sure if you go down, you're not sure how to open up the description box, right under my channel name under this video, it'll say show more. You just hit that and it opens up the description box, so you'll find all sorts of links in there to my recipe blog, where you will find this recipe as well as all of my recipes. There's also my Amazon storefront. If I've used something that you are interested in, it may be there. There's also Built Bar reward code and a Fetch reward code. Also, there is my social media down there. And here is my Instagram handle if you are interested in following me there. And there are 2 Facebook groups that I'm part of. One is mine, Recipes with Roy, and the other one is Finding Our Way, WEIGH. And that one I co-admin with Jennifer Lynn from the Jennifer Lynn channel, as well as Bree Coleman from Balancing Life with Bree. So I am going to go get this breakfast on the table with a little toast. Be a delicious, filling breakfast. Don't forget to stick around if you were interested in seeing the QuickAdd on Healthi app. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But until next time, bye. Okay, as promised, I am going to show you how to do a QuickAdd. If you know the bytes of something, this is how you can quickly just add that in without going through with a whole rigmarole of scanning or searching my foods. So what you will do is click the plus sign down at the bottom. On Android, it's on the bottom. I'm not sure Apple may be elsewhere, because I know some of the things are in different positions depending on the phone that you have. But you're going to hit the plus, then you're going to go to food. Then at the bottom, now that it's at the bottom for Android, I believe it's up at the top for Apple. You're going to hit the plus. Now it's going to come up saying create food. Now the name is required. So I'm going to put in Roy's Meal. And then this is where in my previous video I said I don't typically touch anything for where it says Better Balance, which is the plan that I'm on. But when you're adding bites, you will. However, I wanted to show you first. If you look down here under nutrition per serving, it shows calories as being required. That's if you are adding this in with the calories, which is an option, but not what I'm referring to when I talk about doing a quick add. So just ignore that, because once you go up to your plan and put in, let's say my meal was 3 bites, done. Now you see calories has changed to optional because I've put in the bites. Now, if this is something that you eat normally on a regular basis, you can go up here to the top and tag the little heart and then save. Now that's showing Roy's Meal 3 bites. So you want to hit track if you're eating it that day. And now I'm going to go over to favorites, and you can see Roy's Meal. So now it's saved as a favorite, so you don't have to go in and do a quick add anymore. You can just hit it from favorites and track. So I hope that helped. Until next time, bye.